All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting crossover episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Which, if I was a cooler person, I would have made a nifty, combined name or something like that.
Sure.
But it's much easier to not, so I didn't. Yes, this is technically both of my custom campaigns mushed into one, kinda. And the people below me and to that side are the players. So to just really quickly catch people up, last week, the party had just finished dealing with some fairies and kind of recovering from almost losing one of their own members. And suddenly another rift appeared in the sky, and out of it fell a strange, sparkly elf and a little girl that turned into a very big cat. And after kind of discussing things with them a little bit, the party discovered that these guys were actually from the Kale Isles, which is a location that's been cut off from the rest of the world and the planes of existence for 500 to 600 years. While they were kind of discussing things and trying to figure out what was going on, they went to examine the device they dealt with the week before, because it had also caused rifts, though never into the Kale Isles themselves. After getting out of that area and returning to camp, they eventually found out, after they'd gone to sleep, they found out that they had visitors in the form of a vampire and his guards and a crazy bat thingy. A fight ensued. The vampire got away, but they were able to capture one of the blood guard as a prisoner. And that's where we ended it last week. So, yeah. So you guys have just finished getting out of the battle. Kata has, or no, because it lasts for a few hours. Kata is still a dragon whelp. But the rest of you are kind of, recovering from battle, dealing with any wounds or anything you had. And you have a blood guard that was captured and restrained by like 4 of you guys. You really didn't want him going anywhere. So, what would you all like to do?
Hey, should I pin him down further with a claw or two?
Seems reasonable.
How heavy am I, Jody?
Well, you're a large creature with dragon scales, so probably in the realm of a few hundred pounds at least. Think like you're grizzly bear sized easily.
I pin him with my 2 front legs.
Okay. So you watch as the small for a dragon dragon comes over and just kind of goes over and presses on the guy's chest, which he wheezes a little bit when that happens. But he's got this really heavy armor on, so it's not. I mean, there's armor to protect him. What about the rest of you guys?
I have my sword out, and I have my rapier right.
Yep, your sword's out and glowing.
And I have it pointed right on it.
Okay. So you guys can see Lillian has gone over and is just holding the glowing blade at his throat. And Lillian, you can actually see from the bright radiant light coming from it, as you get it too close, you do see just this slightest bit of redness on his neck, and you see him wince a little bit as just the brightness of the blade and everything looks to be slightly burning him.
I'm going to find a tree so I can watch, just lean up next to it and start pulling arrows out of me and begin a short rest.
Okay. So Henri just limps over to a tree, leans up against it roughly, and you're watching him just clean wounds and try to stop the bleeding. Anyone else want to do anything? First of all, Lillian, now that you can see that you're actually burning him with the blade, did you want to pull it back at all, or?
No.
Okay.
I'll limp to Henri's side and start loading in silvered shots.
Okay.
Because I'm doing rough too, so.
Mm-hmm.
So while he's doing that, I'm just going to start whistling in the background to try to give him a bit more of an intimidating appearance and give him inspiration.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna look to see if anyone's like bleeding out, like on the verge of death. I mean, I know everybody most of us got touched a little bit.
I think Henri, you're one of the lowest, right?
I'm at a third of my total HP.
So he's
I'll walk over and
bleeding
do a little bit of
pretty
heal
heavily.
action. Sure. I think I'll cast a first level Cure Wounds on both Commander and Henri.
Okay.
Healing? What is this?
I know, right?
Who is healers anymore?
So Henri gets 12, Commander 10.
Thank you.
And then I just kind of like... So, those are the bad guys? I mean, we kind of just attacked them. Sounded like you fucked up their experiment and then we attacked them?
They're vampires.
Yes.
I mean, are all vampires bad here?
I mean, legally, no. But this isn't their country, so they have no sovereignty.
All right. This
Hashtag
seems...
not all vampires. I've heard tales that one or two are palatable. So I will go over to the guy on the ground and just be like, "So, friend, what can you tell us that will maybe keep you alive?"
You hear this kind of guttural sound come from him, and then a very sharp cracking sound, and your face is wet as you notice he just spit on you and got pretty good distance.
I put my sword
And as it goes closer to him, you actually see, instead of just like a sunburn kind of redness, you actually see a little bit of blistering starting to happen. And he has a sharp intake of breath, and then he just kind of sets his jaw and glares at you. because he has a dragon sitting on him and he can't really move.
Give me a reason why we shouldn't kill you.
He tries to spit at you, but the burning sensation on his neck is making it remarkably difficult. So you watch him go, and then he just sets his jaw again and doesn't speak. But you can see sweat starting to form as you, you've gotten into second-degree burn territory, and it's only getting worse.
I'll kind of pull Lillian to the side a little bit, so that remove the blade and turn my back to the critter on the ground, and go to be like I'm whispering something in Lillian's ear, but secretly I'm casting Detect Thoughts.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. From behind you, he can't even hide it. As the blade is taken away, you guys hear like a sigh. And Kata, since you're right on top of him, you watch him visibly kind of. He's breathing heavily. He's kind of just lied back. Obviously, whatever Lillian was doing was incredibly painful.
I'm gonna just keep watch for anyone that's coming back to get him.
Sure, go ahead and make me a perception check with disadvantage.
Cool. I don't even have to re-roll because that was a natural 1. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I get another one. No, that one was way better. Okay.
So looking around, you're still having a hard time like turning your head completely just from all the wounds. Fade made it better. It's still not great. And so yeah, you kind of casually glance around as much as you can. Don't notice anything.
So, can I attempt to pop my familiar out, my raven?
Sure.
From the pocket dimension. I don't know how this is going to work because I don't know where I am.
Good question. And it was pocketed before you fell in.
Is this the D&D equivalent of Schrodinger's familiar?
Oh, I love it. Yes, please.
It comes out as two familiars, one dead and one alive.
Yeah, he used to have zombies following him around.
Yeah, as you focus on your familiar, you understand how it's supposed to work, and you perform what should make him basically come back into being, and nothing happens. Almost as if you hadn't cast the spell at all. Or didn't have a familiar to bring from the pocket dimension. Does that make sense? And I just lost everyone. Really cool plus hangouts. Hold, please.
Hey,
I look at you. You are just amazing.
Okay.
Hi again. Sorry about that. Internet loves me. The last thing the audience saw was me telling Fade, it's almost as if you hadn't cast the spell. Anything after that, nobody's aware of. So, from that point, what do the rest of you want to have already done but are doing again for the show's sake?
I would like to turn my detect thoughts onto our friend and see what he's thinking. So first I get surface thoughts.
Okay.
And I'll just be like, as I walk up to him, I'll just be like, so, what can you tell us of your master?
He doesn't even acknowledge you at this point. And as you just get surface thoughts, you can hear, damn, that hurt.
I would like to dig deeper. I would like to begin probing him.
Okay.
Them.
Very
Should make it
nice.
something.
It's a
Wisdom saving throw.
Phrasing.
hey. I do too much shit on my desk. Wisdom save. What's your spell save DC?
16?
As you sit there and try to do it, suddenly he locks eyes with you. And as you start to probe more, everything stops. And you get this slight pain behind your left eye.
Mm.
He just kind of grins at you. You don't belong there.
You're right, it was terribly boring anyways. Oh, it hurts. Ooh. Don't hear me complaining. So boring.
You see a little vein pop.
I just kind of like,
Vampire Argenta just
given what happened before the last battle, I will just begin adjusting my shirt back, rebuttoning that up, and just occasionally, let my neck show, like,
He seems to be avoiding all notice of you now and looking anywhere that you aren't. Argenta, you had something?
Yeah, and vampire, I'm like, and you don't belong in this damn country.
That's,
Die, vampire! You don't belong in this world!
what would
Yeah,
happen if the king found out that the vampires had crossed over and attacked people for no reason?
no reason. You destroyed our property.
And what was your property doing all the way over here in Valakovia?
And you see this just dawning at that moment, and he just stops talking.
I think the king will have so many questions for you.
is Vala still anyway, she's not into me, though.
No, she
No. Sorry, I was. Yeah, no. I turned around and was trying to question him. And really, you just heard me whispering some arcane words.
Yeah, so it's never a conversation. She
Yeah.
turned around and went, oobly doobly doo.
Yeah, I figured that I just didn't do it doing that. But, alright.
So yeah, I think we just take him to the king and see what the king has to say.
I maybe just do him now. I mean, it's not going to be helpful. The point is him alone.
Oh, I think the king will have ways of making him helpful.
You really believe you have any power or choice in this situation?
Well, why don't we? And I believe my friend better than I am.
As you do that and get close, suddenly this intense bright light appears right in front of your face. And because it's middle of the night, you have tree cover, so you have literally pitch blackness without the sword. The change in lighting is great enough that you're all blinded for a few seconds. And you hear this unearthly scream as and Kata, you can actually feel the body underneath you starting to disintegrate as this incredibly bright light appears out of nowhere.
Would I have enough time to cast darkness?
Yeah. You'd have to kind of blind fire it, but it's a massive light right in your face. You don't have too much a hard time doing it. And as you cast it, you see the darkness start to form and then fizzle out.
Damn it.
Can so if I'm kind of blind,
It was for about two
I-
seconds.
can I tell that he's disintegrating?
Yeah, like I said, after a couple of seconds, you start to blink. You're a little bit faster than the rest because you've had a bright light in your face this whole time. But you see this just sphere of intense light, literally inches above his body, and the entire area around you is bathed in so much light. It's basically like it's noon.
Now, given that we've experienced like when the fireplace opens, does the light seem similar to that? Or does it seem more similar to my sword?
With your training in just kind of undeath and stuff, you actually recognize this spell that's been cast because it's incredibly useful if you're fighting and searching for undead creatures. Someone just cast a daylight spell, which is why the darkness spell was canceled as soon as it was cast.
Is this guy burnt up yet, or is he still burning?
He's past the point of being alive. There's still bits of flesh that are melting. You, with your magical knowledge, that can't just be a daylight spell. Vampires don't like daylight. You know this, but he melted super fast. You would almost think it gives you memories that remind you of a certain spell you enjoy using that generally requires touch.
Mm-hmm.
Can
I start
dig it.
looking around to see if we can see where that came from.
Yeah,
there's anybody
so
out
am I.
Make me perception checks with disadvantage.
I want to cast a spell.
Oh God!
Okay, so they're looking around. Fade, what spell do you want to cast?
I think I got the same number both times.
At 4th level, I'm going to cast a spell magic on any invisibility that I sense.
Okay, kind of putting two and two together and realizing if
Because I was tracking that other dude before.
yeah, realizing this spell that melted him requires touch. You cast spell magic. How big an area is it, or is it on a specific thing?
Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within 120 feet.
Ooh, okay. So to target the invisibility, I'm going to have you make the perception check as well, because you have to know the invisibility. But you can do a straight check simply because of the knowledge you have.
Come on, dice. 24.
You see some blades of grass that are squashed flat right next to. And as you bring your hand over and dispel it, you guys watch as that vampire winks into existence, sees you all, and begins instantly incanting another spell.
Oh, no,
Got to grab him.
I'm pouncing.
Okay? Anyone else want to do anything?
Yeah,
Can I
I'll,
quick
I'll
draw for a
be
shot?
about well.
Okay. I heard
Alright.
Lillian. Who else?
Me, I would like to quick draw, take a shot.
Okay. We'll deal with that in a second.
I
I'll
was,
cast Taisha's Hideous Laughter, if I can.
I was just gonna punch him in the jaw to stop him from talking.
Okay, there's a lot going on. What I'm going to have everyone do is just roll me a straight dexterity check. Alright, so we'll start with what I see first, which is Scott, or Lillian, sorry. What'd you get, Lillian?
Only a 4.
4, okay. Commander?
18.
Gotcha. Kata?
13.
Okay. Argenta?
17.
Okay. And then Vala. Man, my brain's not working.
20.
20. Damn. And Fade, were you doing something as well, or no?
Just no. I think that.
Yep.
I focus on the spell.
Okay. Vala, you're the first one to react. You see the conjuration before anyone can react, just with how fast he's casting. You realize there's only a couple words left of the incantation, and most of the somatic components are done. So in the next half a second, whatever spell this is will go off.
Okay. So would I have enough? I wouldn't have enough time to complete my spell.
For a full spell, technically, initiative-wise, you're just a split second faster.
Okay. Because I was going to try to do get off Taisha's Hideous Laughter real quick.
Okay. Because this is all happening simultaneously, you can get this spell off. It's not going to stop this spell.
Okay.
He would start laughing and would finish the last word as part of the first laugh.
Then I will attempt to tackle him to the ground.
Okay. So you go over, hit him. Make me a strength athletics check.
Oh, awesome. Oh, even more awesome. So that's a 4.
Okay. So as you dive for him, he puts his hand up and shifts, and you again see that bright light, and you just miss completely, land on the ground. I think Commando is next with an 18.
Yes.
Okay. So you watch as Vala leaps and misses. There's a bright flash right before it. You level your aim.
That's a. Hold on. 14 plus 8. Not 8. What am I at? Oh, 10. 24.
Yeah, that would. So yeah, you sit there. What kind of shot was it again?
It was a silvered.
I thought you were doing a trick shot or something, or was it just you shot him?
No, I'll do a dazing shot.
Okay, is that a wisdom save? Con save?
Con save.
Gotcha. What's the DC?
I believe it's 16.
Yeah, he
Yes.
fails. So as you dive past, you hear the familiar sound of Commander's gun going off, and suddenly you watch as the vampire is hit backwards, hits the ground, and you can see he's slightly stunned from the hit. The rest of you are able to kind of pile on him and move things around so that by the time he gets unstunned, he is no longer able to cast the spell. He's just fighting against you all, screaming, tries to bite one of you. Unfortunately, it's Kata, and he chips a tooth under dragon's scales.
Nice.
What do you guys want to do with him? You've stopped him from casting from the time being.
Immobilize his hands.
Okay, so Fade, being somewhat familiar with what paladins would do to clerics to keep them from casting, you get some string out and just bind his fingers together, so it's impossible for him to cast somatic components.
I do that and I look over at Vala. This one? Try this one?
Yes, this one.
Yeah.
I was muted apparently. Does this guy have any markings to denote which house he's a part of?
Good question. Roll me a history check.
I start going through his pockets and looking for holy symbols and stuff.
18.
Looking him over, one thing you know about vampires in general, they're kind of proud of their house in general. Most of their clothing will have their crests somewhere on it. They'll have signet rings, things like that, necklaces. He's not wearing a single piece
Whoa.
of anything that would identify what house he's from.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to check. I will relay this info via message to Vala.
Okay. Fade, could you roll me a sleight of hand check?
Oh, I sure could try. Oh my gosh, I have a bonus for a total of 5.
So you're going through, trying to find belt pouches, pockets, anything. He's got nothing. His robes don't have any pockets in them. He's not wearing a belt pouch, or at least nothing you can see. You even look in certain places, like certain mages will have pockets sewn into their sleeves or just extra folds so they can hold things in them. You don't find anything. Still fighting against you guys. He's spitting at you. Like, this is remarkably feral attitude for a vampire when they're normally very regal.
I just kind of look to everybody and can can I do something real quick? I just want to try talking to him.
Will it cause him pain?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, wouldn't be my guess.
If I are being.
I will pull out the holy symbol and present it on my chest, and then I'll extend some Wolverine-type claws, and I'll remove one of the fingers from his dominant hand, what I can assume is a dominant hand, and I will let him know that.
Dark.
Do you see this? And I point to my symbol with the bloody claw. Your time is done, and it's my time now. So be nice and answer some questions, or not only will you die forever, I will send you to oblivion, because that's what I do. And I take a step back.
I just look at Henri and look back and be like, I don't know who I'm more afraid of right now.
You know what?
I'm being.
With a snort of flame from my nostrils, I comment in Draconic. Yeah, you do it.
Ooh, the dragon face just coming from behind me saying that. Hell yeah.
I need an intimidation roll with advantage.
I think I'll need it.
You cut off his friggin' finger.
18.
All right. So, sitting there, you watch his already pale face go even paler as he is looking at his four-fingered hand, and then back at you and at the holy symbol.
Oh, I flipped the finger to the dragon.
And as you
Good.
do, he guys screams, "No, no!" And then he just, you don't know what you're asking? You... And he just seems completely dumbfounded right now.
I kind of look at him because I was in the face with the vampire before. Is this the same guy?
It is not. You've not seen this vampire before.
I think we have vampire lackey number 5, guys.
I am not a lackey. And he's saying this through pain and anguish at losing his friggin' fingered Wolverine.
We've killed so many, we just lost count. I don't know, is it 5? I just forget.
Was this the only device? I want to walk over to him. Is this the only device you were working on, or are there more?
And he looks at you, kind of recognizing the figure of the outcast, and then over it. You could sort with demons. Get them away from me. I'll tell you whatever you want, but get them away from me. And
who's he asking to get away? Me or the dragon and the cleric?
The cleric and the he's looking at the cleric and you. The dragon is not quite as worried about because you're not threatening his immortal soul.
Oh, it's good to know you've heard of me then.
All right, you guys. All right,
I walk off and just patrol around and see if I can see anyone else coming.
Okay.
I stay in earshot, but I try and get out of his line of sight.
Okay. So you
I move closer to him. Threateningly holding my sword.
So
Well, the guys, you were to start me now.
Fine. Nothing you can do. Our plan is flawless. and you couldn't stop it if you tried.
I mean,
Well,
what I saw is pretty flawed.
well, did it go back to someone what the world is?
Sorry, I didn't get that. One more time,
I
please.
said, if you created so far, and we have no hope of stopping it, it won't matter to someone what it is.
What do you want to know?
How many devices are there? Where are they? What exactly do they do? Why?
You really think we're that stupid?
Honestly, yeah.
I do.
That we I don't know where the other experiments are on
So what,
purpose.
so what do you know?
That I succeeded. That's all that matters.
Succeeded in what?
What?
I brought the Feywild here without the stupid portal, without the Kale Isles, without the damn Ladrin, none of it.
Able to be the fireplace is the mayor of it too.
Sorry, my ears aren't working. Say one more time.
Able to be the opening the fireplace of it too.
I super sorry. They're opening what?
I have about the fireplace opening in
Oh.
the bank.
He looks at you, somewhat confused. We aren't trying to get to the plane of fire.
Well, somebody was.
No. See, I developed this plan. See, the entire point was to open up a portal to the Feywild that we could keep in Sanguinius that would give us access to the 4 elemental planes. There's no reason to open up a
Why
plane.
do you want access to the foreign place?
Because there are hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people we could use, people we could convince to help us rule this entire continent, nay, this entire world.
Oh, so it's different. Everybody wants to rule the world.
It sounds like big plans for somebody that can get fucked over by the sun. I swear, the guys travel around with umbrellas. Somebody any street kid could just swat it and then you're a dead fucking vampire. Oh, big deal.
I have to put one of the that I wet my sword against 4,000.
And as you bring it closer to him, he kind of turns away from it, but there's no burning effect like on the other vampires. Yes, your little toys, they're not always going to work. See, this is what's so hilarious. You went into our country, then fled to your pathetic little king. And the only way he could save you was to kill a bunch of innocent people. You sacrificed innocence so you could fail. Don't you see how hilarious that is? That you think killing me or doing anything to me is going to stop anything. They already know this secret. I've already sent my data to them.
To who? Tell us who's behind this.
It is Jose.
Those stupid morons that care more about looking good than actually running this country, defeating our enemies? No. The Blood Council is a bunch of inbred morons.
There's probably only one of them.
Well, for what?
He looks at you really weird.
Well, what we agree.
There's nothing you can do. I've won. And even your little freaks.
No, it wasn't. Oh, no. I believe you have it in my friend question.
You don't get it. It doesn't matter what I say. They are proof I've already won. Why would they come back if we hadn't won?
Can I make an insight check on them at this point?
Sure.
I want to walk up.
Did I help her?
Not really with an insight check.
Can I make her do that?
Sure.
16 for me.
Okay.
Insight. Oh, I got a nat 20.
I got 7, so.
Okay. So you're kind of Lillian, you're a little bit focused just on how defiant he's being in the face of the fact that he believes his immortal soul is on the line. Kata and Argenta, you both are able to see. Move that there, that makes it easier. You both are able to see that while he's in a lot of pain and is obviously grandstanding, he seems to believe this. You don't detect any sort of misinformation, no lies or anything like that. He seems to believe this. Though Kata, as you're kind of focusing on him, you do kind of focus a little bit on when he said those two came back. Because it's obvious to you he was referencing you and Fade. But you guys have never been here before, so you don't really understand why he's saying you came back.
Wait, came back? But this first time we've been here. I say all this in Draconic.
I'll translate if no one else speaks Draconic.
Oh, that's a language? I thought she was just hissing.
No.
Kind of look over at Kata, say in Draconic, "I'm so sorry."
Oh god.
I want to go up to about his head, and with the silver shot, just kind of like poke his forehead with it and see if it still hurts him.
It doesn't burn him or anything. Silver doesn't
Oh wait, that's right. Sorry.
have any effect on vampires.
Yeah, I was wrong.
There is a river I could throw him into if we wanted to just mix him.
I
but,
s- I say we let our new friend have the honor.
Yeah, that's
Are you suggesting me or Fade barbecue this guy?
I think Fade would get more pleasure in it, I'm sure.
I can make use out of it.
Might as well get something useful out of this guy.
yeah.
Wait, can I search his pockets real quick before you incinerate?
Yeah, sit there, take your time, pat him down.
Also, he was like implying that he was the cause of us being here.
I'll be in translation mode.
No, I'm saying this out of character.
Oh,
It seemed like he said he brought us back. Whatever he did is what brought us back.
I used a giant claw to smack this guy in the face.
Roll me a damage roll for your claw attack.
I don't have a claw attack, I have a bite.
Roll me a bite attack damage then.
Okay.
I laugh at him. You dummy.
So that's 12 points of like bludgeoning or slashing damage, whatever you want to do.
Okay, so you see Kata's draconic form kind of
And 3 points of fire.
kind of rear back and smack into him, and you can see some cuts forming that aren't bleeding, because vampires don't bleed a whole lot. But he sits there, and you see him just kind of spit at Kata. He spits this like black ichor-like substance, and just starts laughing again.
Can someone hold him down for a second? Just like
Yeah.
hold his arms for me. I gotta
I'll
do a
do it.
thing.
I'll do
I
that.
believe Commander was going through his pockets before you were going to.
Oh yeah, sleight of hand, Commander, please.
Oh, okay, cool.
I would like to turn to him and just be like, I don't understand how you're winning in all of this. Sure, you were proven right, but nobody's gonna even know your name.
Hey, Jody, has it been too long for me to use my inspiration, or is that faded
No,
by now?
that's still good.
Okay, is it a D8 or?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Ooh. 26.
Damn. So while Fade just kind of pat him down and looked in obvious places, you go a little bit closer. In your career, you've had to find items on prisoners and bad guys before. So you look in the hiding places you know of, and sure enough, in the side of one of his robes is a hidden pocket. That's really, really well hidden. And as you feel around in there, you feel a wand. And you also feel some sort of book of some sort. though relatively small, like a hand journal kind of thing.
Oh, I immediately find that one and start reading it.
As you open it up, it is in vampire and looks like gibberish to you.
I'll take it.
Let's say, does anyone speak vampire?
I can
I
read
can.
everything.
And I can read vampire, so I'll be shoulder reading.
I'll give it to Henri.
Vampires have their own language too? Are you kidding me?
In vampire, I say yes.
Oh.
It just
And
comes out as blah.
It's
I'll hand,
really weird. The entire language is made up of blah. And
oh, wait, hold on. Because I don't know what kind of wand this is. I don't know if I want to give it to Vala or not.
I can identify it. It'll take
Because
me
if it's something
time.
fire related, I don't want to give it to her.
I'm sure. It's a wooden wand. I'll be careful with it. I assume it's.
You careful?
Yeah, because careful is your middle name. I don't think so.
I'll be the
Oh.
guinea pig.
But I can identify. There's no guinea pigging.
Just let her identify it. There's more of us than her. We can take it from her if need be.
Yes, but we're also in the middle of a forest.
I haven't burned down a forest this week.
I'm deadlier to trees than Vala is, so just let her have this.
Fine, I'll give Vala the wand.
Okay, but before I start ritually casting Identify, I don't understand how you're winning in all of this. Seems to me like you're losing.
I have already won.
Won what? You allowed the Feywild to bleed into this world.
Didn't
But
allow it. I ripped it, pulled it. I controlled
You brought it.
existence.
You brought it here. You didn't go to the Feywild. You didn't break down the barriers between worlds. You just took a little piece of it and brought it here. Trapping some very misunderstood pixies in the process. But I don't understand how that gets you to the other planes. And besides, you'll be dead soon. Well, really dead this time.
Yeah.
Not that pathetic joke of an existence you call life.
But they felt so strongly that they had to stop me. They sent people through time to stop me, and they were still too late.
Huh. Time, you said. Who is this who said this?
And then
We can go tell them.
you see this confused look, and then kind of a, you don't know. They've been playing you as well.
Don't know what. Enlighten us. Brag about your superior intelligence.
Maybe you should ask your friends.
And
Dumbass.
just because he's like throwing shade towards me, this is where I kill him.
Yeah, Argento's just gonna be like, you said hold his hands down, right? He's pulled a lot of arcane bullshit, and I'd rather see divine bullshit around now.
I mean, technically, his hands are already like this, minus a finger.
There.
Yeah, it really probably somebody. It's not you, it could be me. I cannot refrain.
And as Fade comes over, he goes, I guess this is it then. And he speaks a word that you instantly regret as he vanishes.
I quickly look around to see if I can see him.
About 30 feet away, you see him running
God
and
damn it,
trying
over
to.
there.
Can I see him? Can I take a shot?
Sacred
Wait,
flame.
I'm just gonna be sprinting because I move at 40 feet around.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
flying right towards him.
I'm completely oblivious, still reading the book.
Oh, so I guess we try to kill him.
Okay, this is gonna happen kind of quickly. So, well, no, I have to.
Just do initiative rolls.
No, I have to figure out if he has enough time to get his fingers out.
What's left of them?
Yeah.
If he bled, that would have loosened the ropes, maybe.
Well, that's the thing.
Really, Vala? Shut up. Don't give him ideas.
What did I do?
You
He
open your
can't-
mouth.
He
Again.
doesn't bleed, though.
Oh, and I was
True.
completely wrong because I used the wrong spell, not realizing this. Yeah, no, he steps out. Commander, you might have a chance to get one shot off, but there's quite a few trees in the way, and I just lost connection again. What the hell is going on?
And how many newtons it takes to undo a knot.
I have no idea why, but my internet sucks right now. Give me a few seconds to get back on the line,
Okay.
or rather, for the stream to continue. Nice things then. Hi, people watching at home. You're the only people seeing this because we're not currently broadcasting, but we're still recording, and that's why I record locally.
YouTube.
Hold, please. Hi, everybody. My internet hates me. So let's get back to this. So what I was saying before the internet so rudely interrupted me. Commander, you you can try and take a shot, but they're basically going to have 3/4 cover.
Which I have sharpshooter.
Oh, so you ignore that.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take your shot. Otherwise, Argento, you're just not going to be fast enough, unfortunately.
Okay.
That's a. Do I need to do disadvantage or anything because of he's darkness or anything? Okay. That's a.
Wait, it is really dark. Yeah, it would be disadvantage then.
Okay. No, that's better. So the first one was. Wait, what did I roll first? 18 total.
Okay. As the bullet flies, you see him just kind of reach back, and it impacts the shield and is deflected off. Damn. After you guys see that, you watch him, and instead of just kind of out of existence, you watch him just extend his hand, and this door of light appears, and he vanishes through it.
Son of a...
Because dimension door doesn't require somatic. However, I think shield does, so he can't cast that. Roll damage. I just realized I'm like, oh, he can't do somatic or material because you took his wand.
Oh yeah. That is 11 points.
Okay. He bleeds rather profusely as he walks through his dimension door.
Kind of look at everyone. Well, that's a thing.
Now, I think anyone with spell levels would recognize he cast a dimension door, which is limited to 500 feet, but it's 500 feet in any direction. So he's not technically gone if you want to try and look for him, but he is in a relatively heavily wooded area.
I start listening for a splat. Okay, so he didn't go straight up.
Anyone have means of locating him?
They
I did, and then I used it to make him visible.
While all that was going on, did I find any interesting information in this journal?
Yeah, a little bit. Most of it is written in some sort of code in addition to being written in Vampire.
I see 2 Scots. Okay. But I know I can read all writing. I know it doesn't mean I can understand like codes or anything.
Yeah, that's the issue you're running into is where you're reading it. Some of it is like random words, and some of it is talking about stuff that doesn't make any sense with run-on sentences. But there are parts that are not coded, and the little bit you got before he pieced out was the kind of confirmation that this isn't the only one out there, and he does talk about the Feywild a lot in there, so it kind of confirms what he told you. If you can crack the code, you'll find out a lot more, but that requires some code breaking.
Yeah, I'll get help for that because I'm not the smartest tool.
I'm the only one that understands vampires, so only other one. So
Hey, one of us will have advantage at least.
I suppose.
But I'll wait until we're settled down for the night. Give me something to do all night.
Yeah, should I try to have like a quick scan around the area while I'm still wormling?
Yes. Yeah, I would see if you can pick up any of his undead scent.
Okay, so Kata just bursts forth into the air. Go ahead and make me a perception check with disadvantage.
Even with dark vision?
Yeah, you're looking for something through trees.
Yeah, true. Damn disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because the high roll was a nat 20.
Yeah.
What was the low one?
15.
All right, so looking through 500-foot radius area is a big area, and as you kind of search through, there's so many, like there's wild animals that as soon as they see even a small dragon, they start running, which creates more movement, and there's a slight wind in the air, and just you're not able to find anything.
I go back. I go back to being a human. No luck.
Well, fuck that guy.
No kidding.
So, here's a question. What year is it? As I turn to Fade and Katia.
So, I mean, I'll tell him what I believe it is, but I mean, we've been cut off for so long that it's probably not right.
Technically, the Eladrin have a different calendar than the rest of the world. Just when they rewrote history for you guys, they made a new calendar too. But when you got to the Feywild, you would have been informed of what the actual date was. So it takes you a little while to remember, because again, you've grown up your entire life with, the Chinese calendar, and now you're being told to use the Gregorian.
So I start digging in the ground with my with one of my blades, and let's see it, and I carry the one, but at the same time I'm just digging a symbol for the Dark Lady, and then eventually I'll give him an answer, and as I look at her and answer, I just kind of cut my finger open and just trace her symbol in blood, and start.
Which isn't creepy at all.
Yeah, no. I'm for sure trying to creep factor them out so they don't kill me, because I don't trust anyone, unfortunately. No offense.
I lean over to Henri and go, I am so sorry for anything I ever thought about you being creepy. I'm sorry.
And then I wave Ella over and so the year is blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, and you said you had the Dark Lady's favor at one point? Let me proselytize for a minute. And then I try to convert you harder towards the Dark Lady.
Well,
and this is what you do, and as long as you use fresh blood or freshly deceased blood.
I'm probably not.
Okay, so one thing
Lillian's
at a time.
Taking notes.
Yeah.
Well, Vala's less thrilled. But the date that they give you, which, as an incredible world builder and dungeon master, obviously, I know what the in-game date is.
Of course.
But I don't want to ruin the immersion of this particular episode by giving you a date system that you don't know yet. So I'll just tell you, it's roughly about 17 years in the future.
70 or 17?
17.
Huh. So you guys are from the future.
Ooh.
Is Sarah Connor still alive?
Well, on the good news, if you wait around long enough, you can get back to where you came from.
Wait. You guys actually
15
believe
years.
that?
I mean, they came through a portal in the sky. I'm inclined to believe it at this point.
It's not the strangest thing that's happened to us tonight.
You guys know that Sanguinius likes to play these games where it's all about deception, right? And you're just believing it.
I
There's
also
no proof.
saw a druid turn into a vampire. And into a dragon, I mean.
Yeah, that's arcane bullshit.
I'd like to believe it's natural bullshit, because I have similar magic,
We've all seen a fireball about the sky, and we've seen
Well, yeah, but
the here, siphoning of blood, opening portals to God nowhere.
Well, I mean, there is one key difference. All of the other portals that brought bullshit into our realm happened on the ground. Theirs happened in the sky, and somebody yelled something. I'm no master of portals. I think that's different.
I'm-
At the mention of the whole time travel shenanigans, I'm gonna flip to a part in the book that has a symbol that matches the one I sketched, and begin reading on if there's anything about that device.
Yeah, that section is encoded.
Okay.
I'll sit down and help Henri somewhat try to figure out how to break this code.
Yeah, I would too, probably.
So yes, our pointy teeth friend said that you guys have been sent back here to try to stop them. Do you know who would have sent you back here?
Faye.
To try
So, there's a lot of things that we don't really have time to get into. Maybe we do. I don't know. But I am closely tied to a god. I kind of make the light spell come on my amulet here. And I was more or less in her arms. And then an ancient being with ginormous tentacles, and he can apparently track me through planes, made a play. So then she fought him, and then I fought him, and then Kata fought to save me, and then all of a sudden we got dropped on you guys. Boom goes the dynamite, and I'm not sure. Tell you what, none of this makes any sense. However, we're in the middle of planning a war. I won't go into the details, but if there's anything I can do to help you now, how about, let's say if this 17 years thing is real, in 17 years, you come find me, give me a hand. I mean, we'll, boom, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
okay. I mean, sure. I don't know where I'll be in 17 years.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, in about 16 and a half years, I will have inadvertently ripped down the interplanar travel barrier that has happened with the help of my god. So that'll be a thing you can do. I mean, place bets on intertravel portal development, R&D. You're going to hit the jackpot Google style.
Unless these vampires.
What is a Google?
And then my eyes just bulged. But yeah, so I can't figure this out. I'm gonna go pray for a little bit, and I just kind of kneel in front of my blood rune. Talk to the druid. She knows a lot of stuff too.
Before you do that, and I will pull out my warlock focus, which is a red crystal in kind of like some wire wrapped around it, and be like, so this is my holy symbol. It I thought that this captured the essence of the Dark Lady. Her wait a minute.
Wait for it.
The Dark Lady's undying light. But apparently I was wrong all this time. And that light is not hers. It belongs to someone else.
So, this is a technical question. Could an object be modified and still retain its focus properties? Like if I were to try to carve his shit into the symbol that it should be, could he still use it, or could she still use it?
Well, it's a crystal. So
I got reality shaping God Claw. I'm fine. I'll do something.
Carving a crystal takes a very specific skill set you don't have. So if you want to try, you can. I can't guarantee it will survive the process. I'm not saying you can't cut it, but carving crystal into a specific shape is remarkably difficult, especially when you
crystal stone or a form of stone.
Especially when I'm like, what are you doing? Why,
No,
why?
don't worry. Just checking it. Just looking, friend.
It's a fantastic question. If you're talking about stone shape or a spell that specifically affects stone, it would not affect crystal.
Okay.
So you're saying that this god that you're friends with, it is the Dark Lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I pointed out. She's met her.
Really? Has she gifted you any arcane powers?
Oh, I don't know if I said.
I do it.
Because everybody's been telling me she just gives divine.
That's
But,
kind of her thing.
yeah, would
So
that
I
be,
probably have a case of mistaken
would that have been
identity.
would that have been Dark Lady or just Widow's doing?
Oh, my wizard levels are from being an Eladrin and my girlfriend's training.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with her. The DL. So
By,
yeah, I'm like,
by definition, something provided by a god is divine.
So it's kind of about, like-
And by definition, well, it's a whole other kettle of fish.
yeah, I think maybe the wool over the eyes kind of thing with that.
Yes.
Is it like magical? If you can identify stuff, have you tried it on that?
I haven't?
Maybe someone, maybe the vampires are tracking you and it's all a lie because apparently they're into deception, right? Right there, creepy hood face man.
Like
Alright, so I'm gonna go sit down
Rethink
And
your
I'm-
existence.
and I'm going to first identify the wand.
why didn't we think of that? You got us into trouble because of that stuff.
So the wand is a wand of magic detection.
Yeah, this is not a fireball wand, just so you guys know. It is a wand of magic detection.
I slowly put my gun away.
Always with the distrust. So I'm going to put that in my pocket, unless anybody else would like the arcane bullshit detection rod. And then I'm going to use identify on my focus. Sorry, the holy symbol.
It's an always-on sending stone, telling everyone where you are.
That
Because
would
that happened to me.
explain.
That
Would
happened to me.
explain Leopold.
Yeah, identifying the necklace, it's a spell focus. It has no specific magical properties. It's just your spell focus.
Okay. All right then. Yeah. No, that was well, it was a good idea. But now I feel less silly for not thinking of it sooner.
I go pray.
Okay, so Faye kind of kneels down and starts doing some chanting and prayer work.
So, Commander, I'm wondering if we should probe these guys for investments that may be profitable about 17 years in the future.
You know, that's really not a bad idea, but they're from somewhere else, so I don't know if that's a very reasonable thing.
I just
No. Where was he? Hold on. That would be.
I just laugh at the absurdity and just begin trying to decipher this code.
Oh yeah, shipping routes will be good too. Waters are going to open up. My whole continents, islands in the middle of all this stuff. So trade routes are going to be pretty key. Just saying, buy a boat.
Is this done while you're praying?
Yeah.
So you have a big.
I already tried to communicate to her, and she ain't having it at the moment. So I'm half-heartedly doing it. I'm just going through the motions to set up a makeshift woods shrine for her.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna have ramifications.
Trying to grow her presence. If we're in the past, fucking, I'll have an army when we get back.
Oh.
I mean, she does have a temple here.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this entire this country we're in is very religious. There's a major temple to every god.
Fade stands up and looks at them. Can you point me in that direction?
I just
So,
Luis travels
remember how I told you my father was a he was from that temple.
Oh God. I cast Zone of Truth on all of us right here.
It'll be fun.
Gotta be running low on spells.
I
I'll
have
slowly
one
put my gun
first,
back out.
2 second. That's it.
So I need everyone to make a wisdom save, please. What's the DC fade?
Charisma DC.
Oh, charisma. Sorry.
What is it? Sorry, brain. 16.
What? So that was a charisma save?
Yup.
I rolled another natural 20.
Nice job. Lie your ass
I
off.
rolled a 15, so I'm affected.
So
I fail.
anyone that passes, you guys can lie if you want. Anyone that fails, though, you have to. Anything you say has to be the truth. You're not compelled to speak.
And so I'm like, so this is more of that arcane bullshit. It's actually divine bullshit, like I was kind of talking about. I just wanted you to know that, like, I'm being real here, and I'm not part of these vampire folks. Whatever this all is, interesting, but it ain't my bag. Yeah, no, trust me, that's why I'm still doing it, even though I can't do it. That sentence was nuts. My brain stopped. So yeah, I'm not part of the vampires. We're not from around here. I would, just because I'm gonna believe that we're not from around here, since I've been cut off from some stuff that I shouldn't be cut off from. So long story short, which one of all you is trustworthy? And I just kind of point. Can we be friends, or are you going to turn on me here?
Vala raises her hand and says, "I'm probably the most trustworthy person here. This is a group of liars and of murderers and thieves, and have murdered innocent and killed them. And I've thought about running away in the middle of the night."
Says
Wait
the
a
one
minute.
who burns a forest.
You know what will happen if you run away in the middle of the night.
Technically, I didn't burn down the forest entirely. Just
Okay.
And who
parts
also
of it.
was bitten by a
And who-
werewolf, and we had
And
to
who rose?
fight.
And one of us did raise demons in that forest. So
Argenta just kind of starts pointing. She points at Henri. Lots of rumors about him. I don't know what's true, but he did summon demons. Points at Vala. Pyromaniac. Points at Lillian. Likes decapitating people.
Wow. You're just
Points
so open.
points at Preach. there are lots of illegal things she has done. Points at myself. I mean, I've been arrested on charges of a bar fight or two.
I mean, Argenta, you do know that you don't have to speak. Just throwing it out there.
I know, but this is fun.
And I just to get them talking to see if they can open up to each other. I just point. You can lie. You can't lie. You can't lie. You can lie. So everybody knows who can and cannot lie. And then I just go back to praying. Have fun.
Alright.
And I can do what I want.
But yeah, because I'm under the spell, I just repeat that there's a temple to every major god in this country.
I need to go there, or can you send me in that direction? Or maybe I'll just write a letter, and if you ever get back there, you can hand it to someone in charge.
Dark Lady says hi.
Maybe do that if we ever get there.
Well, I think one thing's for certain. We should probably rest for the evening.
Mhm.
Yes.
And we can either escort them or send them on their way in the morning.
Yes.
I move some stones around. Like I said, I mean, if you got some business around here, let us know if we can help. It's kind of what we do. Try to make
Hey.
friends wherever we go.
I mean, our business really takes place across the border. The only problem with the border is that they kind of don't like us, and there's like this arcane bullshit bubble that keeps you from illegally crossing it.
How far away is this arcane bubble shit?
It encompasses
How far?
a third of the continent.
Well, how far away from the border are we? Is the better question.
Yeah.
Probably about a day, half a day, if I remember right, Jody.
Technically, you guys are within about half a mile of the border. You're about half a day away from the nearest crossing.
I mean, are you trying to get back over there? Is that the plan?
I mean, we're not on a time crunch, as far as I know. So, we could probably venture south where we haven't caused a ruckus and try and cross.
I don't know how much I like that idea.
Why?
I mean, that
If we-
was the plan you guys had before you got interrupted by pixies.
I
Yes,
just
but we were
further south.
going to head a little bit south and cross at Jadar, I believe. House Jadar.
But with two Bloodguard that got away,
Yeah.
I don't like our odds.
I like our
That's
odds.
why we didn't kill them when we had it there.
I like our odds in House Lavar even less.
Well, it would be House Domont, not Levar, right?
Yeah, but if we go back into the kingdom,
There's
I can't go to the mall.
there are crossings, smaller crossings, every I don't know, like 2 or 3 days down, like between the crossing you guys were at and the one for Damont. There's probably about half a dozen crossings in between there.
So we could always go with them to the temple, the Dark Lady, and then just backtrack a little bit to cross.
That's true.
No,
Because they're not...
no,
Go ahead.
if we do go to the temple of the Dark Lady, that far, I am wanted by House of Ball. So we could probably avoid that if it's possible.
I mean, we should avoid every major vampire city. They don't like us.
Yes, but there are some cities that like us even less.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
It's possible.
I welcome you to my world. There's plenty of vacancy. No. My point being, they don't know this land. We do. So if we just say, hey, go south, they will probably get lost. And I can't have that on my conscience.
True, yeah.
That is fair.
I'll go where the group wants to go,
Alright.
and then I just kind of make my way a short distance from the party and start setting out my bedroll.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against doing so again. Quite important. And then I go there my bedroom too.
Okay. Any other prep work anyone wants to do to get ready or before you go to bed?
I do have a rules question.
Sure.
With my invocation where I don't sleep, would I still get the benefit of a long rest if I'm deciphering the book all night? Or would I have to do a short rest, like take an hour break, and then spend the rest of the night deciphering?
I'd say for code breaking, because it's not a skill you actually have, that would prevent you from getting the effect of a long rest, because it's more than just mild activity. It's actually really intense mentally.
So before Vala goes to bed, I will ask if you could give me a little pep while I'm doing this. I'm asking for inspiration for a rules standpoint.
Rah, rah, sis boom ba, go get 'em, tiger.
I wait. I watch what you're doing, and I'm super into sciencey stuff and taking notes and experiments. So I'll just kind of look over your shoulder and hover and not be able to help or decipher. But when you look like you're struggling, I'll give you a guidance just for the next minute. See if it'll help you get past something.
Hopefully. I don't know what kind of check I'm needing to do.
To start the decrypting process, I'd be a straight intelligence check made with disadvantage.
Okay, so I will immediately use the inspiration you gave me last time just to make it a normal roll then.
Okay.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay, that's a 19. I am definitely going to use that D8. Oops. I'm just going to roll it in D&D Beyond because I don't have a D8 prepared on my little thing.
D&D Beyond, who doesn't sponsor my show, but if you'd like to.
I meant roll 20. It's a 22 total.
Okay. So, looking it over, having to translate from a different language into one you technically speak makes this more difficult, and then the fact that you've never actually done code breaking, you spend an hour working on this and trying to find something to decode it, and it's still gibberish. Perhaps if you found someone that actually has done code breaking work or something to that effect, you might be able to get further. But your quite literally just looking at random words and sentences that don't match up. And
I miss Waldus more every day. I'm gonna spend the rest of the night just reading from my Guiding Beacon Book of Prayers.
okay, and anyone else wanted to do anything before you go to sleep?
Question.
Answer.
Now, give me my backstory when my father was both my parents were fine, and they raised me in that environment where I have any background complaining.
Good question. Hold, please. My sorry, reading through some stuff really quick.
I
To be honest, your father never really brought you into that aspect of his life hardcore, where he would have taught you any sort of things like that, and more likely than not, the only thing you would have been exposed to was being able to recognize a code that you already knew the cipher to. Good question, though, to take inspiration for that. All right. Anyone else?
I wanted to sketch ideas for another gun for about an hour before I go to sleep.
Sure.
will take a watch. Because I want to make sure that me or Kata are awake. One of us is awake, so as much as we can. So during my time, I will be ritual casting ceremony, and I'm going to make some holy water vials to give to these guys as an offering.
Okay. So 4 watches. Which one did you want to take, Fade?
Probably the first 2.
Okay.
Because I'm paranoid as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take like the 3rd watch, and I want to ask Henri for the book to see if I can. I just want to read it because I can read vampire.
Okay.
Hand you the book. Be like, good luck.
So we have first things first. We have Fate on first watch, Argent on 3rd watch. Anyone want to stay up with Fate or no?
Oh,
I will.
Okay. So
I'll stay up with everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You won't be able to technically be on watch the entire time, but cool. So Lillian on Fate or first watch, go ahead and roll me perception checks.
Ugh, 16.
Oh, that was nice. That would be 24.
Okay, but between the 2 of you, don't see anything. Who's taking second watch?
I'll take second with somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kata and Henri, I'll have you two make a roll.
Okay.
Oops, that was performance, not perception. My bad. 19.
15.
Okay. And by this point, you'd be Kata again. But by the way, yeah. Throughout the night, you guys don't see anything. Argenta, you're on third watch.
Yep. 20.
Okay. As well, you don't notice anything. Yeah, fourth watch, Vala Commander, you guys want to take that?
I'll take it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
That one.
You fell asleep for a little bit. Luckily, nothing attacked you because there's a smell of blood in the air from somebody carving blood runes into the ground. You guys wake up, and now you can actually see a little bit of the aftermath of the fight. Now the sun's out and everything, you can see the remnants of the corpse of the blood guard that you captured. It's now mostly ash, with his armor sitting there, and you do see kind of blood stains on the ground in various places from where, like, you cut the dude's finger off and other stuff like that. But it's like really deep red, almost black blood.
Argenta, should we possibly dispose of the armor into the river so there's no evidence of a dead blood guard in Valakovia?
I mean, we could, yeah.
I'm asking you because you're
Well, it's not
quite
that
literally
deep
3
of a,
times as strong as me.
it's not that deep of a river. It's the problem. It wouldn't be carried, or it wouldn't be hidden the bottom. We could bury it.
I mean, if you want.
Let's bury it.
Okay. So, because the ground here is not particularly good for digging, it takes you the better part of an hour and a half to be able to get the hole dug and the armor and ashes put into it. But you are able to bury it.
Alright.
So, are we continuing with the plan of escorting them to the temple?
I suppose so. I mean, they have to get back to the future some way or another.
The fact you still believe that. I mean, I spent most of my life in a temple. I'm naive. I know this, and I don't believe it. Come on.
I mean, do you have a better explanation?
Yeah, a different plane.
But we know the Kaeliles are on this plane. Are you saying there's some other, like, parallel prime material plane?
Sounds more reasonable than they traveled through time. I mean, just think how silly that sounds, guys. Come on.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm going to agree with you.
Actually, it means not only either they're lying about when and where they came from, or the Feywild is running at a different time than us, or, I mean, there's several different explanations, but them just coming from the future seems the most plausible.
If it was given what I mean, if we want to believe in what they told us about the opening of the wild and all that, I mean, the fact that we don't know about it, I mean, that would people said that we have our ability that we're operating on a different timeline than we are, a different time than we are.
Could just be my personal prejudice. I don't trust a word out of a vampire's mouth. So that's why
We'll be the lie, but I'm working on that entire situation.
No, the sooner we get them to the Temple of the Dark Lady, the sooner we'll get our answers.
No, I'll just warn you, nobody talks to the gods. So that part does sound crazy.
I talk to the gods every day. What are you talking about? And I'll
They don't talk back, is what I mean.
well, to you.
Oh man, I feel like I gotta flex something. I'm gonna like just. I feel like I gotta flare like light or just something silly on my holy symbol just to like. I told you, if this time bullshit, which I don't believe is real, I know that my group, kind of like you guys actually, little band of misfits. We broke that nonsense. Like, you can talk to whoever you want. I'll tell you what. When we get back, I will contact you. That's a thing that I can do. I will contact you and see what's up.
Do this to me, money.
Jody has to play our character 17 years in the future.
Oh
To
my god!
figure out what the hell happened to you in 17 years. I sense Fade's gonna die real soon.
Follows just like half burnt,
What
half
was that?
werewolf.
Fade and Kata never came back? It's so weird.
Hooray!
Volo's half burnt, and she's just like, yeah, I walked like 15, I took a 15-minute walk. What do you know?
So, what do you guys want to do? At this point, you've been kind of talking while you ate rations and kind of cleaned up camp to get ready to go. You do know the Temple of the Dark Lady is literally opposite side of the kingdom, so you're talking cross country. At least a good week. Well, you guys are towards the top-ish of Valakova, top of this part. So you're talking a good week and a half to 2 weeks to get there minimum, and that's if you make good time.
Is there a town nearby on the Valakovia side? Like, what would be the closest town?
I don't have it named yet. But yeah, there. But basically, every border crossing, there's generally a town within about a couple miles of it. That's why the border crossing is there. So you guys are about a half day's journey from the nearest small kind of village.
All right, because I can go if someone wants to come with me. Obviously, I'll change, but get a cart, speed up our journey a little bit.
We have the wagon.
Or we could just split up.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
I'm
How
just
about
saying.
you go by yourself about 10 miles that way, and I'll point towards Sanguinius. Have fun.
I'm just saying. I could take them to the Temple of the Dark Lady, while you guys continue on the Sanguinius.
Because Vala going off on her own ends well.
No way that is going on.
Hey, I'm still here.
Oh,
You're welcome
God,
for
should I-
that, by the way.
I see no fur,
We
no
helped
fungus.
that. Partially you're alive because of us, partially you were in danger because of us. But you always seem to get in danger on your own, which is really strange.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I did fine on my own for so long.
We have a cart. Did we have horses already? I can't remember.
Yeah, we have horses and a covered wagon.
back.
Okay, so I guess we don't need to go to the nearest town because we already have a cart. I'm just absent-minded.
Yeah, yeah. If you need a third horse, Kata can turn into one.
Yes, yes, I don't think so.
Had a weird thought.
Hmm.
It's a terrible thought, but
Hmm.
how much ground could Kata cover in a dragon as opposed to being on a cart?
She can only carry a small creature. The wormling is medium-sized.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, the cart wanted my never-ending story moment.
Unfortunately, I can't even have that in our game as a giant eagle.
I guess we'll take off in the cart. I'll be in the back since I don't know how to drive this thing.
I can drive.
All right, so just to make things a little more simple and not to bog everyone down, go ahead and everybody make me survival checks.
Oh, yeah, something I'm good at.
In the forest, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey Jody, can I do a thing?
Sure.
While
Depends
they're
on the
eating.
thing.
Well, my typical bullshit kind of thing.
Oh no.
I'm gonna cast a ritual spell that is called Divination,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to ask, what can I do to help these people the most? What is going to keep them the safest?
Wouldn't that require contact with his god?
That's what I'm thinking about. As you cast this spell, it fizzles. And fails.
I like to think I was distracted by that because I rolled a nat 1 on my survival.
Sorry.
$23 on survival.
24 survival.
17.
23 also.
Sorry, I'm doing a couple things at once. Talk amongst yourselves for a few seconds.
So I kind of look at the Vela, and I'm very confused that someone would think that a red crystal would be the holy symbol of the Dark Lady, and I can't get over it. And
So
who told you that?
Well, no one told me. When I was younger, I was, I like to learn, and I've read a lot of books, and I started learning about the Dark Lady, and I tried focusing, and I tried reaching out, and I felt like I broke through to something, and then I saw this amazing light, this just burning light of life and positive energy, and I thought it was her. I was so awestruck. And because you know the stories when people die, they see the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought this was that light. This was her light. And as soon as I felt that, I noticed I started having this urge to spread that light and shine it everywhere and to destroy all undead. And I knew she disliked the undead, so it seemed reasonable-ish.
Fair enough.
I mean, we don't have contact with the Dark Lady here, and I grew up in Sanguinius with the vampires, so you know, not a lot of Bibles running around there.
I mean, I'm carrying 3 right now, but probably not the ones you want.
Right.
That reminds me of the mummy that he prayed to all the different.
So, I mean, I know I'm foolish now. As the more I learn about it, the more I realize how ridiculous it was. But I don't know. So now I'm stuck with this question of where does this undying light come from?
Well, I can tell you one thing. If that light ever turns out to be like a beacon that guides, like the guiding beacon, don't go near it because very evil. Like,
what?
I resent that remark.
Oh shit, boy! How much do I go into? We have a long cart ride here.
Yeah.
So you guys don't understand how many notes I have from our game.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm going to drop some.
Note taker.
I'm going to drop some of this forbidden knowledge that I learned in the library in the Feywild.
You got it.
I kind of, Argenta kind of reaches into her,
You got
Inter-
it already.
I'm stopping everywhere.
Argenta reaches into like her hidden coat pocket, pulls out the dagger that she kind of keeps, and it has the symbol of the raging dervish on it. And she's like, "What about this one?"
I just kind of I pull out my spell book, which I would interpret doesn't have any spells in it because I don't currently have that power. But
Well,
I've transferred
technically,
notes.
It's it would have your spells in them. You
Okay.
just don't understand any of, because it's written in magical shorthand that
Okay,
you no longer understand.
that's fine because I transferred all my notes from the Feywild into it. I made that for sure a statement. So I go to town talking about the Seven Hells, Seven Heavens, Elysium, Noble Virtues, the Muses. I lore drop these dudes,
Oh.
and then I say the Chosen War is coming. You need to pick a side, and the Dark Lady is the only side that's going to matter because we're going to win. We stacked the deck in our favor. Everything's going our way. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
But the guiding
I've-
beacon represents all that is holy. I don't understand this.
I pull out on the back of my shield because I carved it out of wood and then I did some magic crap. But some of the wood that I used came from an original holy symbol from the guiding beacon because I started out learning and being a cleric to it, and then I found out the truth, and I'm like, I know more about the guiding beacon than you might think, and I turned my back on him, and he tried to end me, and I'm still here.
You don't ever take it without me.
So I should make this clear. When I say talking to, that's not really a thing. Like, do you guys have paladins and clerics here? Is that a thing? Have you seen priests? I mean, there's
I
temples.
think so. I think
Yeah.
I had some individuals that claim to be paladins, and I had to embarrass myself in front of them. Not something I'm going to forget anytime soon.
And when I said my father was a we
Well, then you probably know, and I won't get too technical with this, but the divine favor that we alkalites have is channeled, and we kind of interpret. And for most of my life, that's all I did. I interpreted the guiding beacon, and I did what I thought was right. And then my eyes were opened, and I fought for everything we have, and I've made promises. And it's not typical for people to talk to gods. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's not a thing. Until about 16 and a half years from now. Things change. And the Kale Isles are going to be opening up. It's in shambles right now. I know you guys said you've never seen a dragon. When you do see the dragons, that will come. Right, sure. She's like the baby version of them. The big ones are like half of this forest. They're really horrible and scary and bad. But if you see a bunch of them taking off, follow them. They're going to lead you right to the Kale Isles because they're all coming to us right now. So if you're ever looking, I'm just saying, go that way. But yeah, so I do my best to describe what the chosen were in the Forgotten Age and the Muses and what they did and how, in most cases, the Muses were removed from all records and texts. And
They were also murdered by the chosen. But
I want to, despite being, told my religion's wrong, I want to ask this individual, formerly known as my friend, describe the mural we saw under Dorme, if any of that rings a bell.
Hit me, Jody. What is this?
I think I broke him.
Jody?
Jody's like, oh, my worlds are coming.
And I almost spit it on my computer screen.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry.
What he describes to you sounds almost identical to the place where you learned Willow's true name.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Does-
Right. That's real.
When he
Oh, shit.
when he brings that up, I'm just like, does polyhymnia mean anything to you?
Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Hold, please.
That's,
Oh, shit.
Jody's like, oh, I fucked up.
No, I may have given them the wrong name. Give me a second here. Because, no, the place they found was not the same.
Well, we'll see what he says.
Hope, please.
As I draw the schematics for the goggles of polyhymnia that my girlfriend just made.
I mean, Fade can't see it, but I'm giving him a stink eye while I'm gently holding my Bibles.
My memory is shot right now. Did I give you guys the name Polyhymnia?
Yeah, I was in the cave
Yeah.
where we giant mural.
Okay, that was
Oh
wrong.
yeah, that's her.
That was the wrong name.
Oh,
Ah,
Okay.
The actual name that I was supposed to give you, where you? Yeah, it would make sense for it to be Calliope.
with a K or
Oh.
C?
Calliope.
So now I say, does Calliope mean anything to you?
So does the image remind us of?
So the image is almost identical to what you found. It's just the name that's different. And through
Okay.
very basic inference, you know there were 9 muses.
Okay.
So if they gave you a different name, obviously it must have been a different muse's place.
Yep.
I feel really bad. I thought I was smart enough to give you guys another name.
oops.
Wait, these muses, you say?
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Amazing, you say?
Well,
I only bring this. So a muse is someone who inspires others, correct? So
Well,
when I
about-
was down there and I used my power of inspiration, it reacted.
I just realized I never told you what the name meant.
I say, well, I'll tell you what. One of the a place to look, if not to the Dark Lady, is the all-knowing Magus. That one's got some good info, and it's on the side of good and the side of life and balance.
All-knowing mages.
Tell you what,
You mean?
like, I mean, I hate
Oh,
to talk shit about the guiding beacon, but if I were to recommend gods to people, I would say the Dark Lady, the Raging Dervish, the Valiant Warrior, or the Almighty Magus would probably be the good guys if there was a fight between gods.
Okay, so we don't have we have the Almighty Magus, we have the Nurturing Gardener, we have the Cunning Rascal, the Wise Sage, the Gentle Healer, the Raging Dervish, the Guiding Beacon, the Valiant Warrior, and the Dark Lady. All of their temples are cities in this country.
yeah.
Whoa, that doesn't make sense, but okay. Where we're from was kind of like kind of consolidated, for a lack of a better term. Kind of a lot was hidden from us for the last 600 years. Just kind of broke that door open at the same time that we kind of made planar stuff happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Indoor
you're-
plumbing. It's gonna be big.
So you're saying like gods like, I mean, I guess Cunning Rascal would be an asshole, but like the Wise Sage and the Guiding Beacon are assholes?
They want too much power. They started out as good guys. Trust me, I believed in them. And then when things started to unfold, I learned differently.
I got shown by someone who served under Nurturing Gardener. That not fun.
The Nurturing Gardener's forgotten her purpose. It's been a long time since these guys knew what they were doing. The Guiding Beacon, from what I understand, and like I said, I read a book in the Feywild, take it or leave it, but he was the first god, and the more gods that existed, he lost power because all the power comes from one place, apparently. So as soon as there was a second god, he had a problem with it, and then more appeared because that's what the muses deemed. And now there's 9 of them, and they pick sides. in what is more or less a war that's been going on forever, again and again and again.
Also, guys, I'm not the smartest in this group, but I feel like if any of this proves to be true, we should never speak of it.
What? You mean you don't want to destabilize the major military power that controls a third of the continent that devotes their lives to the worship of the gods?
I don't want to kill me favors.
So I just copy pasted just a very small snippet of what we've been talking about. One thing that I didn't mention is that the Gaiden Beacons champion, which is a thing that happens now, is a vampire, and you guys are fighting vampires. So maybe that will lend credence eventually.
FYI, he's not a vampire. I used a vampire stat block.
Delete a line of text and a line of.
I was joking, I was.
Kept trying to tell you guys it's just a stat block.
I said I take a lot of notes. Whatever I get.
You're a much better player than I am. So, with all that said, it takes, because it's a very complicated story, it takes the full 2 weeks for you guys to get through all of that.
Alright.
So, real quick question. In all of that he was talking about, does any of that sound familiar to my Undying Light? Or no?
Technically, he wasn't really describing the gods. He was giving you a history lesson, and all of it is forgotten history, or the majority of it is forgotten history. So it's completely new to you.
Okay.
Also, in those 2 full weeks, I would like to have sketched, spent time sketching for a rifle kind of thing.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence. Or do you have a tinkering skill?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me a tinkering check.
That's just Dex plus proficiency.
Or
Really?
no, it's, since you're designing it, yeah, it would be a straight up intelligence. Sorry.
No worries. It's a 20, not natural.
So yeah, as you the 2 weeks going down there, you sketch out the chamber and the barrel and everything, and kind of come up with a rifle of sorts. In order for you to build it, you're going to have to get. Really?
Well,
Hell was that? What the heck?
Is Cambridge a new god?
No, I mean, I don't have Google on. Like, I shouldn't be able to do that. That was just super weird. Damn, what was I saying before my phone scared the shit out of me?
I sketched out. I rolled a 20, not natural.
Oh,
for,
yeah. You've got the design done. To actually build it is going to probably take you a couple tries, just again to work out kinks. But the basic design is done.
Yeah.
If we pass through any small settlements on the way to stock up. I would have rented a separate horse to get as far away from Fade's blasphemy as possible on the journey.
I would have started making pamphlets during that drive too.
I would have changed into my outfit I had designed to represent the guiding beacon.
Oh boy, them fighting words.
Do you have one up there? He's always wants you, so.
But, like, in 17 years, it's just going to be like this hidden factor of our characters knowing this preemptively, and then there's just this guy who's just full on guiding beacon.
No, it'll be really cool, Jody. It won't just destroy both your campaigns. No, do a crossover.
So all I can tell is that there are these characters called the Muses that have incredible power and created the gods, and I have that power.
Oh,
You
no.
you are one of them. Well, we found your sister. Hopefully, your power will awaken soon. I'll get on board. I'll encourage it.
Yes. Maybe I just need to light a big enough fire. No.
Anyway, you guys make it to the outskirts of the cities surrounding the Temple of the Dark Lady, and Liliane, you would be familiar with this because you grew up around here. I don't think anyone else has been this far south, have they?
I might have passed through when I was young, but just to get to guiding beacon.
So the first thing you guys notice is, compared to the Temple of the Wise Sage or the Cunning Rascal, the outskirts are dismal. There are people that live out here, but living is a loose term. They almost look they've come out here to die. There's barely any structures. Most people are just sitting or lying down. There's almost no noise either that you'd normally expect coming into a town. Just people looking like they're mostly dead. Is there anything you guys want to do before you go into the city proper?
I throw death ward on myself because that's what I do.
I would like to
Nothing.
restitch the pocket with the gun in it.
Okay, you would have been able to do that during the
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I'm just gonna put my my black robe over my guiding beacon outfit because even though it's the correct god, I want to have respect.
Gotcha. So, as you all move through the city, one thing you notice quite quickly is there are these little pockets of people somewhat living where they would live kind of in a group type camp setting almost. Like there are some small structures and things like that, but not like houses, more like shacks and things like that. And then there's like communal fire pits where you see people go and get food and then eat, but no one talks to each other. And then in between these little like group campsites are just tons of graveyards. Some of them have mausoleums in them. Some of them are just headstones and markers.
Someone's got to do the dirty work.
The closer you get to the city, the more elaborate they get, to the point where you actually see ones with entrances to what you assume are full catacombs and things like that, and full like family mausoleums. And when you get to the gate of the city itself, like most other temples cities, there's a wall surrounding, separating the outer city from the inner, but the gateway itself doesn't actually have a door or portcullis that you can see that would be able to close and protect the inner city. You just have these hanging cloths that go up, 30 feet because it's a high wall, but they just hang and obscure the gateway, but nothing that would keep anyone out. And you can see two people on either side of the gate wearing these deep black robes with really long hoods and cloaks built into them, with the symbol of the Dark Lady blazoned in this deep indigo paint on their chests. And they just kind of stand to either side and look at people that go in, and sometimes make gestures over them, but they don't seem to talk at all.
So I'd look at everyone. Have any of you been here before?
I kind of shake my head as I'm driving.
No.
No, my father was from here, but I grew up in Pennsylvania, the border.
What is your family's name?
Sarah.
Perhaps we'll need that, apparently.
As you get close to the gateway, one of the robed figures steps forward and just raises up a hand that's completely covered by the robe. So you just see a robe come up, and you see him, a single finger kind of reach out from outside the robe, and he points to the horses, then he points to the wagon, and then he points to a stable a few hundred feet away. And it just stands there.
I'll redirect the wagon over to the stable.
Right. And as you get there, you see a single boy, can't be older than maybe 12 or 13, comes up, takes the reins, and leads the horses over, then comes back and goes, "It'll be 2 silver for the night."
I'll give him a gold piece in case this is longer than what we need.
And he takes it without another word. He starts going over and combing the horses and gets some feed out.
That's a good kid.
And no one here has said much of anything, and no one has smiled.
Oh.
I'm not from around here. Is it rude to talk to people? Because he's the only one that's talked to us. So.
We don't have much to talk about. Most keep to themselves. It's not polite to ask why people are here, because it's normally because they're dying.
Alright.
And he goes back to his work.
So we should head into the city. Essentially, these are giant temples, and then a city kind of surrounds them, so it's hard to miss the temples.
I think at this point I've stuffed my holy symbol away.
Mhm.
Because I don't want anyone to know why I'm here. I just needed to be here. Because I need to know what this place is all about. I'm just going to ask you guys, if you don't mind, I'd like to check out this temple. I don't know the customs here. I've never actually been off my island until recently, so...
And, I mean, it seems they aren't a talkative bunch, so I guess we can head there and people won't bother us.
Yeah, how much would I know about that customs or whatever?
You know a fair amount, like the idea that most people don't talk unless they have to, simply because a lot of people here are sick and dying. The inner city is filled basically two people, or two kinds of people: those that are dying and those that are attempting to keep someone from dying. So, like, wife of someone who go to the temple every day and pray for the Dark Lady to spare her husband, things like that. And because of that, it's kind of this unwritten rule that speaking too often or being too talkative is disrespectful to the people dying and to the Dark Lady, because it clouds what she can hear, and your chatting might be covering up someone's prayer. That's the kind of feeling.
Well, they go to the
So
temple.
I would tell say that.
Well, they go to the temple. I'm just gonna go to an inn. I don't want any part of this. And if this is the last I see you, good riddance. And I walk off towards the tavern.
I'm actually going to follow Henri. Like, I'm just very unsettled by all of this.
There are no taverns in the inner city.
I'd just be walking away.
Okay.
I
There are a few places in the outer city where people have kind of either brought their own alcohol or made moonshine to kind of help the people that are dying, but it's only tolerated because it's outside the city.
I guess I'd try and find an inn of some kind.
Okay, we'll deal with that in a second.
Yeah.
The rest of you guys, anyone else doing anything other than
Nope,
going to the temple?
I'm just gonna lead him to the temple, because this is the arcane bullshit that's interesting.
Getting to the temple is remarkably easy, simply because this isn't the bustling city you're used to dealing with. Everyone that travels to the temple, they walk in straight lines, and like, this is a very ordered city. So while you guys are doing that, Vala and Henri, as you guys leave, how do you want to try and find an inn?
After being told about the whole talking thing, being disrespectful, I'm just gonna try and find what I would assume resembles an inn, just based off my know-how and general knowledge, because I don't want to bother anyone.
Make a wisdom check for me.
I would have gone with Henri as well.
Okay.
17.
All right. If the rest of you want to help out, you can make wisdom rolls as well.
13.
Okay.
6.
So, Vala, you're kind of overwhelmed just with, like, the feeling of the city. Like you feel heavier just being there. The silence is physically heavy. You do hear little words every so often when people are kind of forced to talk, like to get food for the day or things like that. So that's what you're focusing on. Henri and Commander, as you guys look around and look for the telltale signs of an inn, there are none. You look for larger buildings with multiple windows and signs that indicate something. You guys wander for half an hour through the city and don't see anything that even resembles it. What you do see every so often are these strange single-story buildings that are massively long, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you because they take up a lot of ground space, and it would make more sense to build them multi-floor, but they're not. The walls themselves are generally not even complete walls. They're more like partitions, permanent partitions. And as you look past them, you see most of them have rows of beds and things like that, just from a glance. But you don't really see any money changing hands, and you don't see like a bar or a kitchen or anything like that.
I think I would just try and find a chair outside or a bench of some kind just to sit.
Okay. You eventually do find just a public bench outside one of these partition buildings.
I'll just sit there.
Okay, Commander Vala, are you gonna sit with Henri or keep exploring?
I'm gonna keep exploring for I'm gonna go to the outskirts trying to find a tavern or something.
Okay.
But along the way, I'm going to pick up a rock.
Okay.
Something that can fit in my hand, and I'm gonna cast a light on it.
Okay. We'll
just so I have this little piece of light in my hand.
Okay. We'll deal with that in a second, Commander. Do you want to follow Vala or?
For the city's sake, I feel like I should follow Vala.
But
it's always more fun when you don't. I'll stick around with Henri, but I wonder, would I know anything about the fact that nothing is built up more than one story? Does that have anything to do with the Dark Lady, or is that some belief they have?
You're not aware of why those specific buildings would only be one story. There are two-story buildings here. It's just none of them. Like there's a few houses and things like that have a second story. You don't see anything taller than that, other than the temple in the center of town, though.
Oh, okay.
But as far as why, you don't know. You're not aware of a tenet of the Dark Lady that forbids it.
Okay.
Also, Fade, I think you created the next big evil bad guy of the other campaign in Henri.
I mean,
that's what it is. This whole thing has just been so I could introduce the big baddie.
Comes back and kills me. I win.
While that all is happening, Fade, Kata, Argenta, and Liliane, you guys are able to make it to the temple. As you get in there, the first person with robes of the Dark Lady that you can actually see their face appears before you. and it comes up to you, and the first thing they do is they kind of very gently place their hand on your head and just kind of focus for a second. And they start with Argenta, and they kind of focus for a second, and they just stand there looking at you.
Do I know this custom at all?
You got no clue. Lillian, you saw your father do it a couple times. He never explained what it was, and he very rarely did it. So you don't actually know what it is, but you know it's a thing that the temple priests do.
I mean, is this like a healing thing or a medicine check type of thing? Like they're just trying to find out what's up?
With you being a cleric,
Yeah.
nothing they're doing has any divine purpose whatsoever. Having seen rituals and things like that, to you this just seems like a man-made ritual, and it quite literally has nothing to do with the Dark Lady.
Then I do it back to him.
Okay, and he looks kind of offended when you do it, and you see him kind of walk off, and another person, a much more elaborate robe, comes forward. This one has like shoulder pads on it, and he's actually wearing a medallion with this symbol of the Dark Lady, and he comes and he puts his hand on your shoulder and just kind of looks at you and then nods and kind of motions, and he goes over to a room with a door, one of the few ones you've seen. And
I follow.
Waits.
I follow.
Right, let's go.
So you all get in this room, and as he closes the door, he kind of bows his head and he says, "I am the head priest of this temple. Tell me what brings you here, for you do not exhibit signs of death yet. Are you here to take the pledge and join our order?"
Well, Fade already kinda has.
And he seems very confused and just looks at you, Fade.
Could you tell me what your pledge is?
They're the vows to join our order.
And what is that to you?
I do not understand the question. Do you
Fade
not
is
know
trying to
where you are?
Fade is trying to tactfully see if, because this is a whole other place, and the Dark Lady he knew or was brought up to know was from the super insular Platinum City. I'm just going to see if these beliefs are the same as the beliefs I was taught.
Okay. So, after kind of explaining yourself a little bit without going into detail, it's like he looks very confused that you don't understand what it is to follow the Dark Lady. But he goes, "Well, we worship the Dark Lady. We watch over those who are transitioning from life to death and ensure that their passage is within her chosen time. There are some who it is not yet their time, and others who do not know it is their time. And it is our job to ensure that their passage happens as peacefully as possible when the Dark Lady decrees it."
How do you know when she decrees it?
Well, being her priest, she informs me of these things, and the other priests and acolytes enact her will.
I consider all of this, and I just kind of look at Kata and Elaine and Argentin. What does she say about me?
And he seems to be getting more and more annoyed with this. But he finally just comes over and he places his hand on your chest. And even with the chainmail, right?
Yeah, scale right now.
Scale, okay.
Or no, it's half plate. My bad.
Half plate. Oh, with the half plate, he can't feel the shape of it underneath. The other two he could. As he puts his hand on your chest and he kind of concentrates, you almost think like you're kind of expecting that feeling of magic being cast to happen. Nothing. He just holds his hand on your chest, closes his eyes, and looks. Dark Lady has not yet decided that your time is up. Now, if your only goal is for me to tell you when your time is up, I cannot do that. It would break my own vows. A person should not know the day that they will die. Only those that have been blessed by the Dark Lady should ever have this knowledge. You're welcome to roll a insight check.
Like, I think this guy is just a placeholder. I don't think he's doing anything.
Well,
sure, insight. Boom. Plus a little bit. It's 25. What's my take?
Nothing he has done has had any divine influence on it whatsoever, and everything he has said is very rehearsed. You don't get the feeling that he believes strongly in it or anything, just that he's said it a lot.
Okay, I need to thank you for your time. I might have a parting gift for you in a moment. I say that specifically to him, and I kind of bring Kata and everyone to the side.
He's
just out of earshot.
Even more offended. You guys are in a tiny room. There is no out of earshot here.
Oh boy.
And he seems to be getting more and more offended every time you speak.
I don't care. I don't like this guy. Kata, like, I mean, should I be inspiring these people? What do you think?
I don't know.
They seem very uninspired.
I take great offense at that statement. How dare you speak that way to me?
I put 5 gold on the table for the temple so that you can better help the people, and then I go back to the huddle.
This is nothing to do with tithing or gifts. You must leave this temple immediately, blasphemers.
I am not interested in dealing with this guy in this manner, so I will, without turning around, I will wave some hands around and cast Beacon of Hope on everyone in this room. And turn to him and say, as I'm pulling out my holy symbol, and I just kind of drop it and let it hang.
And you see the acknowledgement, like, as soon as you turn around after casting the spell, you can see he's already taking out his own holy symbol, and now you can feel some magic happening, like he's about to do something, and then he sees yours, and he stops, and you actually feel the magical current just cut off. And after a few seconds, you see him start to process things, and he starts getting more and more angry. But you have a few seconds if you want to do something before he reacts.
I understand talking isn't the thing here, but words need to be said. Will you please sit with me just for a moment?
Make a persuasion check.
But
This might
give
need
you
to
a
go
double
into
clip.
part 3.
Give you an advantage with your holy symbol.
that's a total of 16, baby.
Okay, he is fuming, but he pulls out a chair and sits down. And as he does, he goes, "Where did you get that? You have no right."
Oh, God, I don't know how. I'm not going to show him the glove if I can help it. So,
I mean, it is on your arm.
yeah, but like the runes aren't lit up and all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to flex on him.
So that's what he said. What do you want to respond with?
What is your name, sir? You said you're the head priest of this temple.
I gave up my name in service to my God. If you had any reverence at all, you would know this.
All right.
am
Well,
Well
thanks anyways.
within my rights to smite you where you stand in the
Oh.
name of the Dark Lady.
Stop it.
And finally,
You don't even believe in what you're saying.
he gets up, opens the door. Leave.
Okay.
Sir,
I try to stay, and I apologize for my
He cuts you off in the middle of your apology. Shoo, if you have any reverence for the Dark Lady, you will distance yourself from that blasphemer, and you will do whatever penance you feel. And he can't even complete it. He's just so fuming at this point.
I thought I will I do have a quick question for you though.
He won't hear you. He's so beyond angry right now. He's just telling you to leave.
Alright. So then I can leave.
I cast detect magic as I walk out the door.
Okay, it's a temple, so there is a fair amount of magic around it. You can tell there's a lot of divine magic here. This is obviously a real temple. You just don't think that the priest is 100% there because he's really into the Dark Lady. He obviously does have power. You could tell that when he was getting ready to
Sure.
like that was real. It's just most of what he's doing isn't. As you walk out, you feel a hand place itself on the small of your back, and you see a robed figure, again with the deep hood, probably about a foot shoulder than you, is attached to that hand. and she looks up to you, and this is the first time you've seen someone with one of those hoods, actually close enough where you could see her face, and she has this look of kind of fear mixed with a little bit of excitement as she looks at you, and you feel on the small of your back her kind of guiding you and pushing you away from the temple with her, but kind of in a different direction than just leaving the temple grounds completely.
I follow her and I cast sending to Henri and say, "Can you just come by the temple? I don't want to leave things this way." And then we follow this little girl.
I'll reply back. Well, actually, no, I won't reply back because of my ring. But would I still get it because of my ring?
That's
If you allowed it.
technically it's reading your mind, not sending you information, I believe. So
Okay,
sending would still work. They just can't get information from you unwillingly.
Okay, yeah, I won't respond, but I'll start making my way there. I'll let Commander know.
Okay. Just to kind of shore up your storyline, because it's very late. You guys are able to find like an area with some moonshine in that, and a person that actually talks. That's still very little, and he gives you some moonshine. Mentions that he's kind of there to help people in the way that the temple won't, which is by dulling their pain and their senses through alcohol.
I assume this is me, or
Yes. Sorry, I'm pointing
that's okay.
right at you.
I kind of figured, but just want to make sure. I'll just ask him. Would it be okay if I played a little bit of music, or would that be a no-no?
That would be a major no-no.
Well, thank you very much. And I'll find like a corner, and I'll focus on my light, and try to listen in on as people are talking, and just trying to absorb the sounds of life.
Okay. That goes on for about 10-20 minutes, and then Henri would... is Henri's in a different place than you? Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so you guys wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I'm by myself.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh no.
So yeah, Vala and Commander, you guys are both in this kind of moonshine still.
I was with Henri.
Oh, you were with Henri. Oh, yeah. So it's just damn Vala.
Yep.
I tried to put it where you guys could say yes or no, so I may not have said it, but
Now you're gonna like catch the plague or something.
No, Vala just never heard from again.
caused the plague.
So the rest of you guys are able to meet with Fade in this kind of secret area underneath the temple. Fade, you actually kind of recognize it as somewhat similar to like the acolytes' quarters from temples in the Platinum City, where there'd be a main temple itself where anyone could go, and then there was always this little kind of basement area that you reach from outside, and that's where the acolytes would have their sleeping quarters and things like that, so that most people had no idea that really existed.
All right, man. So, real quick, because I know you're trying to end that part. I'm going to cast Stone Shape on the ground and make 10 little like stalactites with the holy symbols of the Dark Lady, so they just snap off real quick.
Oh,
So there's just stone symbols.
So you basically just made how
I made
many?
trinkets. 10. Make 10
Okay,
little
so you have
trinkets.
10 holy symbols, stone holy symbols.
And then I'm going to cast Continual Flame on 5 of them. And I'm going to give it to Henri when he shows up and say, look, this isn't, you don't have to believe anything. This is an offering, a peace offering, if nothing else. I'm sorry that I disrespected your beliefs. I've made that mistake before, and I know I can do better. So I'm sorry. Let this be a light when you need it. And that's all I'll say to him. I won't expect anything back from him.
Okay. Do you make the flame the kind of indigo?
Oh, it's that indigo. Oh,
Yeah,
for
okay.
sure.
So you guys now have this cool blue flame.
I'll accept it, but I won't say anything.
Okay. With that, unfortunately, that's where I need to end it tonight. I will be running a game next week. It will be technically my other campaign, the Kingdom of the Kale Isles, where Fade and Kata are originally from. The first part of it will kind of be dealing with the aftermath of this, and there may be more crossover-y stuff. I don't know yet. I have to talk to my players. However, if you enjoyed the episode, you missed any of it, I do upload all of these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TrainerJody. You can watch not only the entirety of this campaign, but also the entirety of the Kingdom of the Kale Isles campaign, and the campaign that preceded this one, the Tyranny of Dragons. So feel free to check that out and follow me on Twitter if you want. Otherwise, that's all for me tonight, and I will see you guys next time. All right?